Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Meet Your Future campaign. My name's Diane, and I'm going to be your host today, and I'm part of the Bridge, which is the team at the Greater Manchester Combined Authority. Meet Your Future was launched a couple of years ago in April to help young people like yourself have meaningful conversations with employers and different companies and organisations. So hopefully today you'll find out lots of useful information from the NCS, which I'll move on to in a second. So over the past 12 months, we've been speaking to young people from all 10 local authorities across Greater Manchester to find out how you're feeling and how you should feel supported in your future. So we've been listening a lot, and we've been adding extra information to our website, which is the GMAX website, and that will go in the Q&A box. So if you want to look at that with your class or on your own, you'll find out loads of information, and that will be in the Q&A. So throughout this academic year, you'll be able to join sessions and chat with the Greater Manchester national employers about growth sectors across Greater Manchester and different pathways and the career opportunities that are available to you. So in this session, you're going to hear from Archie, Alison and Katie in a moment, and they are from the NCS. You might have heard of it before, National Citizenship Service, and they're going to explain that in a lot more detail in just a moment. So hopefully this will inform and inspire you to maybe take part yourself. If you do have any questions throughout the session at all, we'll be monitoring the Q&A. Just get your teacher to pop it in there and we'll make sure that we ask those at the end. And there may be some interactive parts in the session which Alison's going to do. So again, just ask your teacher to pop your class answer in the chat as well. So I'm going to hand over now to it's Archie first, who's going to introduce NCS for you in a bit more detail. Thanks, Archie.
Okay. Hi everyone. So as Diane said, my name is Archie, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about an amazing opportunity that is there for everyone that's watching this. It's an opportunity for young people to take part in this summer, which is called NCS, and that stands for the National Citizen Service. So I know over the last few years it has been difficult. We've heard a lot of people say no, you can't do stuff for whatever reason. A lot of those reasons fairly good ones. So, you know, we've had COVID, we've had not being able to go to school. People have had all kinds of opportunities kind of taken away from them, and it has been difficult. So what I really want to do today is just tell you about an opportunity, something that you can do where you're not going to hear anything like, you know, you can't. This is your chance to do something a bit different with your summer. Cool. Yeah, we can go to the next slide, please. And again, sorry. Cool. So yeah, what are you planning on doing this summer? What have you got booked? You might have plans, you might have no plans. Maybe you could, if you're anything like me, when I was a teenager, probably spent a whole lot of it sat on the couch playing on the Xbox, doing not a right lot. Well, the news is, guys, there's 2 weeks of your summer holiday where you can get away from home, you can meet some new people, maybe make some new friends, you can get some skills and experience that are going to massively help you when you're writing those CVs, when you're thinking about a job application, if you're thinking about applying for university, and just 2 weeks that you can do something different, get out of your comfort zone and have a really good time. And that opportunity, as you might have guessed, is NCS. There's something that you can do over 2 weeks this summer. Cool. So yeah, 600,000 young people have taken part in NCS already. That is a lot of people. As you might be aware, this is a programme that only comes around once. Once you turn 18, unfortunately, you are too old to take part in NCS. So this is your opportunity. This is your chance. It's not going to come again. It is your time to become part of that community of over 600,000 young people that take part in a programme like NCS. Yeah. Now, don't just take it from me. Obviously, there's tons of feedback. Here are some examples on the screen, if you can see that. We had a programme in Manchester that was voted Programme of the Season 2021. That is out of hundreds, over 300 different programmes that run over the UK. So as you can imagine, Manchester really does have a good culture of having great NCS programmes, and that is something you can be a part of. Like I say, don't just take it from me. There's loads of quotes there from young people your age talking about what they got up to on the programme. So in terms of what the actual programme looks like, it is a 2-week programme. The first week is residential, so you guys will be staying away from home. You'll get on a coach, it'll take you out of Manchester to an exciting location. While you're there, you are going to be meeting the rest of your team. You're going to be getting stuck into loads of exciting activities. So it could be stuff like rock climbing, you might have some canoeing, some abseiling, whatever it is, not the kind of stuff you necessarily get the chance to do in Greater Manchester. Here are some examples on screen of where you might be staying. We work with tons of different locations. Could be up in the Lake District, could be North Wales, could be somewhere down south. We've got one programme in Sherwood Forest. There's all kinds of different places to explore. There will also be workshops which are intended to give you those skills that employers and universities are really keen on, maybe giving you a bit more confidence, public speaking, and just getting those skills, as I say, that are massively going to help you moving forward. So after that's finished, you get the weekend off. There's me with a donkey. You get the weekend off. That's your time to relax, tell your mates what you got up to. And the second week of NCS, this is what we call the do good phase. Now, this is my personal favourite part of the NCS programme. This is where we take a bit of a step back, and it's down to you guys in your teams to create something we call a social action project. Now, you might have heard of a social action project before. You might have no idea what that means. Essentially, what that means is you get to come up with a topic, something you're passionate about, something you think you can facilitate change, make a difference, make an impact on your community. We'll partner you up with a charity organisation of your choice, and you get to create that project and bring it to life. Some examples I've got. It could be that you're really passionate about climate change. You want to put on a project to raise awareness for that. I worked with a group last year that wanted to raise awareness for positive mental health. They were also really interested in making a creative piece. So we worked with a creative charity. They created like a community art space that anyone could donate to and contribute towards. They're just food for thought. There are so many opportunities for you to get stuck into this. It really is down to you guys what that project looks like. And as you can imagine, that's some skills that you can get under your belt that not a lot of 16, 17-year-olds can say that they've got. So not only benefiting your community, but massively benefiting you guys as well. And that is your 2 weeks on NCS. As I say, not a massive commitment in terms of time, but what you can get out of that is massive. And that isn't the end of it. There's so many things that you can get involved in as a graduate of NCS. The first thing you'll probably experience is our go party phase. So this is just one day. This is a chance for you guys to get dressed up, come along, meet up with those people that you've made friends with on the programme, and really just celebrate what you've accomplished over those 2 weeks in the summer. You will all be given a certificate. That is tangible evidence, something you to keep with you, take to your job interview, something to be proud of that shows what you've accomplished. Cool. So how much does a programme like NCS cost? There is a cost to it. It's government subsidised, and they actually put £1,200 into every single place that goes on NCS. Now, I'm not going to ask you to pay anywhere near £1,200 for a place on this programme. I wouldn't have a spare £1,200 to go on NCS. So the most you will ever spend on this programme is just £50. That £50 gets your travel there, that gets your accommodation in the residential element of the programme, that gets your food, your equipment that you're using, all the practitioners and the workshops that you're working with. That is a lot of stuff that you get under your belt for just 50 quid. Now, having said that, if £50 is a step too much for anyone, for any financial reasons, cost should not ever be a barrier. There is financial support available. All you need to do is have a chat with whoever your local NCS provider is, and we can make it work for you. We want everyone that is your age to have this opportunity given to them. So that is pretty much everything I've got to say on NCS specifically. I guess the real question is, how do you get involved? It's really simple. All you need to do is search NCS, go to wearencs.com, and you can get your space. Now, my advice to you is don't leave this till the last minute. I know for a fact that a lot of spaces in Greater Manchester have already gone. So if you are interested, and if you know you've got a few friends that you want to get signed up with, do this as soon as possible. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity. It is an amazing chance for you to do something with your summer and really get a lot out of it. Cool. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you for that, Archie. So Archie's just spoken to you briefly about what NCS is and mentions that, you know, you're going to gain so many skills. So I'm here now to speak to you about some essential skills that can be put in practice from NCS or learnt and developed at NCS into the green industry. So yeah, next slide, please. Oh. Okay, so you're probably thinking essential skills, what are they? So as you can see on the screen, they're broken down into 4 main groups. These are skills that you will need for almost any job. So there's communication skills, creative problem solving skills, self-management skills, so such as like being positive and always aiming high. And then there's interpersonal skills. Like I said, that will help you in almost any job. So we're going to play a little game to wake you all up. Now, one of the things here is to get you thinking about how these skills could help you in the future. You might be thinking, well, they might not be able to help me like confidence and team building, teamwork, leadership skills, but I'm here to tell you that they definitely will. So we're going to play a little game. I'd love for your teacher or yourself, if you can, to write if you think these answers are going to be higher or lower, or even have a guess at a percentage, but we're looking for higher or lower here. Put it in the Q&A chat. So the first one is higher or lower than 5%. So do you think this is going to be higher than 5% or lower than 5%? The percentage of someone's yearly wage increases if they have higher level essential skills. So do you think it's going to be higher than 5% of someone's yearly wage increasing? Or do you think it's going to be lower than 5% of someone's, you know, wage increasing because they've developed all these essential skills? If you just pop that in the Q&A and we'll have a little look.
So they've gone for higher, Alison, we've got.
Oh, higher, amazing. You guys are correct. Can we have that on the screen? So it is way higher than 5%. As you can see, it's 12 to 18% increase on average. So that is between 39,000 and 59,000 a year. That's crazy. The next one is higher or lower than 18%. Okay, so think 18 in your head. The percentage of the UK public that believe essential skills are important in work. So do you think essential skills, are they important? Higher than 18%, lower than 18%? What are we thinking? I'll just give you a moment.
We've got higher on this one.
Higher again. Let's see if you are correct, guys and girls. Amazing. So it's dramatic, from 18% to 89% of public believe that essential skills are important in the world of work. So that is amazing. It's like up there, these essential skills. Okay, we're going to do one more, higher or lower. So higher or lower than 52%. So have a little think here, 52% is your benchmark. What percentage of UK public believe that essential skills are important in academic attainment? Have a little think there and we'll see what you put.
And again, it's coming through on the chat higher, Alison.
Oh, amazing. So you guys think higher. Let's see if you're right. Drum roll. Ooh, correct. It is 71%, which again is really high. So this is just showing you how important these essential skills are in your future if you're not already aware. Just to show this in a little bit more detail, we've got a case study here for you. So last summer, someone, as you can read here, did a social action project. So this was a team of the NCS kids, of you young people, what you might get to do, took part with a charity called Breaking Barriers. And it was up to them, as Archie said, it's up to you guys to plan and deliver something you would like to do. We obviously do help you. So there's the charity Breaking Barriers last year. These people spoke to the charity, found out how they could help. They listened to the benefits of the charity, and in the end helped create a mural in a new venue that they'd moved to. So they were helping the charity, but they gained so many skills through this, obviously with their team enjoying themselves, but like listening, speaking, creativity, teamwork, all these essential skills were developed. And as you can see on the next slide, there was even more essential skills were put to the test, and we helped develop them as well. So leadership skills, problem solving, aiming high, and obviously staying positive in case there was any hurdles in the way. They adapted and overcome and really did well whilst having fun and ultimately enhancing their essential skills, which help you in the world of work. So to further this further, we also did some focus groups. In summer 2021, there was 9 focus groups, which had 87 young people in the Northwest. And we asked them, who or what or why would you volunteer? Like, why do you want to volunteer? Would you actually volunteer if it was an opportunity for you? What support would you need to be work ready? And these are some of the results that are going to be on the next slide. So a lot of them said they would love to volunteer, or they do volunteer because it improves their CV. Okay, to gain experience and to talk about job interviews, that's a really good one, because if you've never really done anything before and you're going for a job interview, you always need scenarios and answers to questions that they're going to say. NCS sets you up for that perfectly, especially all these essential skills that you will learn. To get a reference, again, I've just touched on that. And then it might be a requirement for D&V, so NCS programme goes towards D&V, but also leadership skill might go towards Duke of Edinburgh, which is how we can help you. For work ready, how we can help them be work ready, what they need to be work ready. All the young people said to identify the skills you already have. So you might think you're good at some of these skills, but you don't really know what they are. So to recognise that you are a good leader, to identify the skills you need to develop, to understand the job application process, and then obviously understand what's expected in the workplace. You might not have had a job before, and it really helps those steps for the future for you to understand a lot of things. Okay, so as I said, I've mentioned briefly quite a few essential skills and how taking part in NCS can help you progress with these, help you apply and practice these skills, and also identify how the development of these skills can help you be work ready. So Archie said all about NCS. I said how we help you with these essential skills and to gain them. They're up on the screen again. And now Kate is going to talk about another example of in the green industry about all these essential skills.
So I'd like to talk now about how all this relates to the green industry. So the government have recently introduced ESG score for companies. So this is based on environmental and social policy and company governance. People increasingly want to know, when they're investing, what they're investing their money in. They want to know that that companies are increasing their energy efficiency. They want to know that companies have got a good health and safety record. They want to know about the company's business ethics. And increasingly, it's companies with a higher score that are doing more about increasing the biodiversity that are getting the higher scores and therefore getting investment. So I'd just like you to take a minute. I'd just like you to imagine that maybe you work for a distribution company, you've just newly on board, and you've just you've got your essential skills, and I'd like you to imagine and think about how you would use the essential skills that you've gained to increase the company's ESG scores. So I'll just
be silent for a couple of seconds while you have a bit of a think about it. So just on the next slide, these are my ideas. So yeah, I thought maybe you could speak with management, find out about the business ethics of the company. You know, maybe you could listen to other colleagues. You know, are there equal opportunities within the company? Does everyone get the chance to like progress and get there, you know, and be recognised? You know, maybe you could work as part of a team. You know, come up with ways to increase the biodiversity around the building, or perhaps you could adopt a small area of green space, or maybe make some planters, put them in the car park, you know, office. Or maybe you could suggest some creative ideas. You know, this could increase the energy efficiency of the company. You know, encourage other members of staff to turn the lights off when they're, you know, when they aren't needed. I'd now like to talk about Emma. So Emma is an environmental consultant, and she specialises in waste management. Emma works for a company called Arcadis. If you look at the Arcadis website, it tells you that there's the world's leading company, and they deliver sustainable design, engineering and consultancy solutions for natural and built assets. So I'd just like to talk you through how Emma uses the essential skills in her day-to-day working life. So part of Emma's role is to listen to clients when she meets them and find out what they want to build and what they want to develop. She then needs to speak with planners to ensure that the green criteria is adhered to. So this could be simple things like the green space within a design, or maybe there needs to be a certain amount of trees that are planted once the build's complete. So a lot of Emma's role is working in a team. She needs to work with designers to come up with creative ideas, especially as like the environmental sector is changing. You know, people want things that are new and innovative. But she always needs to aim high to try and make sure the projects, you know, they have the smallest possible environmental impact. That's something that, you know, Arcadis sells itself on. You'll see on the next slide, you know, when problems, you know, can arise quite easily in, you know, day to day. You know, sometimes they'll change the building spec, but she needs to say problem, stay positive, you know, and work to solve these problems. You know, finding out about, you know, maybe increasing the insulation or suggesting use of less carbon intensive construction materials. Yeah, Emma's really happy to lead on new ideas. I'd like to give you an example of, you know, in 2020 with the Olympic Games in London, she was involved with the design and installation of the aquatic centre, and so there were chairs were there for increased use like in the games, but actually when it became a swimming pool for the community to use, they didn't need that capacity. And so she made sure that the chairs were, you know, easy to remove and a standard size, and these could be, rather than going to waste, they could be used in other projects, and this creative idea has since been used in other projects. So yeah, finally I'd just like to say thank you very much.
Thank you for that. That was really interesting. I'm just going to give a little bit of time now for the for people to ask on the Q&A, and we'll see if we've got any questions for our panel to come through. So we'll just give schools a couple of minutes. I tell you what, I wish NCS had been around when I was at school, because I think it sounds absolutely brilliant for just £50. So we've got one question come through, which I think Archie may well be able to answer, and that is one of the students just saying if they've never sort of been away from home before and they're a little bit nervous about that, do you get people who are nervous? What support may they get, and also do they overcome those nerves? Do you see them more confident at the end of the process?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I see it every year that people sign up. It's completely normal to be nervous on the first day. It's completely to be nervous on the build up to NCS, but I think a lot of the time I see those nerves sort of disappear as the program goes on and as you're meeting lots of new people actually on there. So all the staff on NCS put a massive amount of effort into making sure all the young people that come on the program are sort of getting stuck into it, getting to know each other, and really encouraging them to make form new friendships and get to know each other and stuff like that. Also, you know, there's nothing, if you really need one sort of like a bit of a safety blanket. There's nothing stopping you from signing up with a friend. But I do think a lot of the time, the people I've noticed get the most out of NCS are absolutely the people that don't know anyone on day one. And it's just a really good way of meeting, developing those new relationships. And as you can imagine, just kind of preparing yourself for adult life. Some of you might be going to university, going into the workplace. Meeting new people and having those relationships is a huge part of your own personal development. And you can do a really good way. NCS is just a really good opportunity to sort of develop those skills as well. That's something that I see people time and time again getting from NCS for sure.
Thanks, that's great. We've just got 2 more questions in the chat. So the next one is that I live in Salford. How can I join up?
So the way that you would join up, generally speaking, there's lots of different providers that sort of offer NCS in different regions. I'm aware there is one called the Salford Foundation, which is probably your local one, but they're matched in terms of schools a lot of the time. So if you go onto the NCS website, that's wearencs.com, it'll ask you what school you go to. All you need to do is enter your school into there, and it'll automatically sort of assign you to your nearest, your local provider that's sort of registered with your school. I would imagine for you that would be the Salford Foundation.
And we've actually got another one come through as well. So the next one is, has anybody ever done any rewilding as the project?
Rewilding?
Oh, sorry, I don't know if that's a typo. That might, sorry, I'll just try and clarify that. We'll move on to the next one, because there might be a typo there, because I'm not quite sure what that means. So how does it work with sharing rooms? So I think that might mean on the residential.
Yeah. Sure. Obviously, it does differ from facility to facility. Not every location is exactly the same. One thing that will always be the case is that the accommodation, dorm rooms, a lot of the time, sometimes tented, but a lot of the time dorm rooms, they'll always be split in terms of gender. So there will be, gender specific rooms that don't mix. That doesn't mean that young people aren't mixed in teams when you're doing activities and stuff, but in terms of sleeping arrangements, that will always be separate. Beyond that, though, I mean, like I say, it does massively differ depending on which site you're at. Obviously, that's down to whatever the location you're staying at on your NCS program is.
Thanks
yeah,
so
hopefully
much.
that answers your question there.
Yeah, we've just put that website on the Q&A as well that Archie mentioned, and it was on the slides, but we have put it in the chat as well for people if they want to access that. And it has been clarified, rewilding is where you get very concrete places and it's putting vegetation and planting within that. So has anybody done any projects like that before that you're aware of, Archie?
Oh wow, not to my knowledge. Has anyone else heard of that happening on NCS? I mean, it very well could have. And if that's something that you would want to do on an NCS program, that could very well be something that you can push for. I know that there are a lot of charities in Manchester, in Greater Manchester, that work and stuff like that. There's one charity called Groundwork. They do a lot of work, sort of promoting green spaces and stuff like that. Obviously, with something like that, I imagine you'd probably need the permission of the local council. But that's not to say that it's unachievable. It's definitely something you could look into, and I think that sounds like a really interesting project that you could bring to NCS.
There has been like the occasion where a young group have wanted to help do up someone's garden, like a nursery, get a bit of green space going, or an old people's home, a care home, like do up their garden. I know it's not exactly the same as rewilding, but there's definitely that green aspect of helping the community with a nice green space, tidy it up a bit, definitely working with the local council or the place of whose land it is. But it's definitely happened in the past, and it's definitely something that is amazing to see you all get your green fingers out there.
That's great. That's all of our Q&As to come through. So I just want to send a massive thank you to Archie, Alison and Katie for their input today. It just sounds brilliant, and I wish I was in year 11 again, and then I could have a go myself. Just to everybody listening, again, thank you for attending. You should have your session cards so you can learn more about this sector. If you don't ask your teacher, they've got the session cards that they should have that. You can keep up to date with Meet Your Future. We'll be sending regular updates about how you can join for future sessions, and again, that's through your teachers. And for parents, carers and teachers listening, we've popped or we're going to pop a feedback link in the chat so you can provide feedback on today's session, because that would be great. We hope you've had a fantastic afternoon listening to that. And again, thank you to our 3 speakers for joining us today. It's been really useful, and I wish everybody a lovely afternoon.
Thank you. Cheers.